Welcome to PAMCast for March 17th, 2026. This is the monthly podcast, vlog, customer interaction, where we at TechIDManager talk about things that have changed in the last month at TechIDManager, things we have planned for the next month, technical features things that are going on in the product, and whatever else is happening in the world of Ruffian software and TechIDManager. It's pretty exciting this month. This is for people who are using TechIDManager, existing partners, people who know what TechIDManager does. We're not going to cover details of it, but we're going to talk about more not going to cover the broad stroke, cover more details. If you don't know what TechIDManager is, or you'd like to learn more, or you want to see some specifics on the privileged account management that TechIDManager does for managed service providers, go to techidmanager.com and request a demo or check out all the information we have there. That'll get you caught up to speed. And on the first Thursday or second Thursday, there's a public live demo that you can get to in kind of the same places you got to from getting to this. All right. So without further ado, I'm very excited. The number one item that we have to talk about is, here's our agenda. There's a TV show called The Blocks, which is an entrepreneur competition where about 100 different companies compete for prize money, and it's also an educational boot camp on different ways to run companies and marketing and things like that. Lots of things about companies and startups and entrepreneurs and bootstrapping a company versus taking investment. And I could really step off on a large tangent there on the differences and what I think is best between bootstrapping and taking investment and private equity and all. Anyway, I was on season 21 of The Blocks, and that was released this weekend. So you should go check it out. There's the link, betablocks.com/season/season-21, or if you just put /season, you'll see all the seasons. I'm specifically on season 21. I had a lot of fun filming it. I filmed it February, March of 2025, so just about a year ago. I did make it on stage a couple times. Like, you'll see some shots of me. There are 8 episodes. Each one I think is 30 or 45 minutes long. You should go watch it. Go check it out. It's really fun. It was a lot of fun to do, and you'll see more from me. If you follow me on LinkedIn, you saw a little vignette they did of me specifically when I was there. It's been very interesting, and there's a lot of good information, and go check it out. All right, so that's kind of like semi-personal, semi-Ruffian software, semi-TechIDManager, but like it was released, and I've been super excited about it. I've been waiting for a year since I filmed it to like have this out there. So we're gonna talk about it a bunch because I love it. Not specifically talk about it a bunch here, but as a company on our social media channels, we'll be talking about it a bunch. Now we'll talk about what the company itself has actually been doing. Between TechID Host and TechID Agent, we have been spending a lot of time over the last month, fine-tuning the network interactions between the agents and the host. We have made some pretty significant changes to the agent and significant changes to the host, and those are ongoing as an effort to scale and expand TechIDManager, larger, bigger, more agents, more techs, all that kind of stuff. When we get to the boring technical features, we'll talk some about the specific changes that have been made, but that has been a lot of what we've been up to this month. We've also continued to work on SOC compliance. We are closer than ever. We will have audit paperwork soonish. Like if anybody that's been through SOC 2 compliance or done any of the compliance stuff, ISO 9001 or 27001, CMMC, this is a big undertaking. It's also a big undertaking for a small company without spending dedicated tens of thousands of dollars a month. And we're fitting in with a regular production schedule, regular development schedule, regular sales efforts. It has taken, admittedly, a lot longer than I initially thought. I was sucked in by some of the marketing propaganda around companies that sell SOC 2 assistance services, where they would say, yeah, 14 days, 45 days, you can go from nothing, a SOC 2 type 1 compliant And so I was like, oh yeah, it shouldn't be that hard. Well, there's a lot of details, a lot of paperwork involved. I even have one friend that her job was full-time, just compliance for the company she worked for, a larger company. Her whole job, just compliance. And when you look at the SOC compliance market, there are a lot of players there that claim to help you do it. I talked to one company that was, they got right down to it, was about $7,000 a month. And they provided you a person a few hours a week, plus a bunch of templated stuff. And they claim to get you SOC compliant in between 30 and 45 days with only an hour or two of effort on the company's part, on like our company's part, every week. I don't think that was realistic. I think that was much more salesy. I think that was vapor whale sales, or like just telling you what you want to hear, get you in the door. I talked to others in much higher ranges, some in lower ranges. It was an ordeal just to get to the point to know what to do to work on to become SOC compliant. Anyway, sidetracked. We've also been working quite a bit on the self-hosted releases. As we have grown as a company, we have gotten significantly more self-hosted clients. About 10% of all TechIDManager partners are self-hosted right now. That means that they run the infrastructure, they run the servers, and we don't have any access to any of the data that they host. But that does mean that we have to support them. We had some inefficiencies in the way we were doing self-hosted releases, so that as part of our host-agent interaction work, and part of our self-hosted, part of that has been a self-hosted release change to make self-hosted releases faster, to lower the overall effort put out by, has to be done by developers and by the DevOps people here at TechIDManager to get those releases out. That should free up, that has actually freed up a lot of time. We did the first mass self-hosted release earlier today. If you're a self-hosted client, you should have gotten a pair of emails. Read those. That has information in it. We also have been spending time, we got listed with 𝗬𝗵𝗿𝗄, who is a cybersecurity platform built mainly for MSPs to, and you can tell I'm reading this, IT service companies deliver, manage their cybersecurity services to all their clients. We have a Better Together campaign coming with them, so that's pretty cool. Check that out. They help you get more cyber compliant. Check them out. There'll be some much more information about them and us together next month and throughout the course of this month on our social media channels. Yeah, so that's been just the past month. It has been a crazy month. One of those months where I feel like there are, 17 things to do in a day, and each one of them is going to take 3 or 4 hours. And not everybody gets everything all the time. So like this stuff's taking a lot longer than expected sometimes. So let's talk about the boring technical features. This is the part that I really love. As a CTO, technical person, I love the techniques. So we released a new TechID client, 6417. You can find all this on our release pages. TechID client 6417. There were some refreshing bugs that we fixed to make things faster. There's quite a bit of internal code cleanup. There was logging added about viewing. There was an occasional crash we have seen on startup, probably 1 in 10,000 starts. The TechID client was a crash. We fixed that. Very minor, but it's tricky to find. Now we also have if you care, in the About tab, there's now a Show Log button. This shows the live log of all interactions between the TechID client and the TechID host, which is part of these network interactions that we're speeding up between the host and the agent. We are also speeding up the interactions between the client and the host. All that's kind of falling under the same big umbrella of some infrastructure changes that we are making. We are keeping a polling infrastructure on the back end as a fallback, but we are adding a WebSocket infrastructure on top of that so that changes will get propagated through the system faster. In general, this means that we've cut the average just-in-time enablement time from 37 seconds down to like 31 seconds. And we're going to cut that again. That should get cut down in the 5 to 6 second range for on-prem stuff. It has always been in the under 10 second range for Entra ID. Now we cut that down a little bit more, cut that down from like 11 to like 10 to like 7 for the averages. There are still some outliers where slow machines that don't have quick internet connections, are taking longer, and we're working on those. Those working on that just-in-time enablement speed is part of the justification for a lot of these internal changes that went on with the TechID agent. The TechID agent 450 was released just recently. This has quite a bit of reduced network traffic when it comes to shared just-in-time accounts and an overhaul of just-in-account request determination. It's very fancy words to say we streamlined a lot of when it does what. There was a bug if you use the install scripts without any additional arguments, which is a real rare case, but did happen. This bug, this fixed adding an instance to a running agent not working. This was an out of the blue C# update change that in some way seemed to catch us. We were using the registry objects from C# because our agents are in C#. And it was inappropriately caching what the registry had in it. And as you made changes to what was supposed to be in the registry, not all those changes were seen by the agent immediately. And sometimes you have to stop and restart the agent to get those changes. We believe we found that caching issue. It's inherent caching in .NET for registry access inside Windows that just really kind of jumped out of nowhere. We've never seen it before, but all of a sudden it was happening. That was one of those little really minor things, but it has led to unexpected behavior for a couple people. The tech login tile was having issues unlocking the servers, unlocking a server 2022. It could get logged in and you could switch users just fine, but unlocking was giving you a problem. We believe we fixed that. We added a show option to the command line interface for TechID agent. So if you only want to see one option, you don't want to see all the options, you can do TechID agent space show option and the name of that option. And that will show options in the default instance. If you're using multiple instances or shared users, you can do TechID agent space the name of the instance that you want, such as shared user space admin space show option, the name of the option you want. And that will show you the option that is specific to the shared user instance named admin. It is requested by a couple partners who used scripting to find stuff and they wanted to make it find better. So we put it in. We did internal code cleanup too. But really the big change is we'd reduce quite a bit of network traffic for just-in-time accounts of any kind. And the TechID portal and TechID host 6.448 went out both internally everywhere over the weekend and to all self-hosted clients. The part of our self-hosted release process to be more efficient internally. This lowers agent interactions and network traffic. And like we've talked about, that is the server side of what's changed there. You can see in the release notes, if you look at host, better JIT management, internal code cleanup. And if we look at all of those, you see we've done quite a few. Well, internally we did quite a few. We've only done 3 public releases since the last PAMCast. And you can read all about them if you are as technically, if you enjoy as much technical detail as I do. There's quite a bit there. Yeah, so that's kind of what we've been up to and what we released, what new features were out there. There's a new TechID client for the Mac OS coming. There's a new Android agent, an Android client coming, and a new, I believe that we also released just recently, a new iOS client. The Android client's coming right behind it. Yeah. We've also been working on the 𝗕𝗏_ID agent. The release 6.147 of the 𝗕𝗏_ID agent does group membership for technicians, for unique technician accounts that it manages in 𝗕𝗏_ID. This was requested. Quite a few people like it. You can just put the name of the group that you want as a right in TechIDManager, no matter how specific or unique it is. Then it will manage memberships in and out of that group for those technicians. Just-in-time accounts will get added and removed. A minor issue with this is there are people that have dynamic groups set up for the technicians. They were already doing something similar, but they were using EntreID's dynamic group management and automated group membership to put technicians in and out of that. We weren't aware of that people were using that. So when we release this agent, it actually removes technicians from dynamic groups. So we're going to have the ability to not affect dynamic groups in EntreID and manage shared accounts inside of EntreID, inside of our EntreID agent. Both of those are done. They're I have to look at the schedule, see if they were in testing or they're just about to be released to QA and testing. Those are coming this next time. They should be really soon. And in TechID Portal, pages and filters everywhere. If you were a heavy TechID Portal user or you were real detail oriented, you might have noticed that a couple of the different reports, there's different paging styles, and a couple of different reports and agent and text screens and write screens use different types of filtering. Some use client-side filtering, some use server-side filtering. Some would only start in one direction. All of that's getting rewritten and coalesced into a coherent paging and filtering so they'll all look and work the same. This will also be exposed in the REST API if you are using that. You really get just a page out of instead of all of them, because sometimes getting all of 40,000 agents can take a while, or getting all of 300 texts can get a while. All right. And then for next time, if you noticed, it wasn't in the what have we been up to, because this past month, we got way sidetracked and waylaid, all kinds of all places, all over the place. But for next time, the major new feature that I am super excited about should be announced. We're running it internally. It's working great. It's pretty cool. Just has to be, we're polishing it up, putting the last wrappings on it, and then we'll have a beta announcement for anybody that's an existing partner that wants to join the beta program for TechID 8. We'll be there. All right. And as always, there's a newsletter. TechIDManager.com/newsletter you can sign up for, and you'll get the newsletter whenever we send out release announcements or any of that stuff. And don't forget, the agents and clients also all have auto update in them now, so you will see updates on those. And because I think it's really cool, you should go check out Beta Blocks and watch season 21. There are 8 episodes. I know that I'm in a couple of them. I haven't actually had a chance to watch it yet because I did it and I run a company and I'm kind of busy. But there have been other people that watched it and said it was really good. And I'd lived it and I thought it was really fun to do. So I'm going to have to go back as soon as I get time and watch it. All right. So that kind of concludes the PAMcast for March 17th, 2026. Thank you all for being here. Thank you all for being TechIDManager partners. Love y'all. And we will talk to you in a month, the next PAMcast, or sometime between then if you want to email us. All right. Y'all have a great day.